we make up for all this time now.
Look who, you know how long we really see you. It could have been about
a year or two.
Call to drink now.
What we go do?
Long time, been a while we have bust a line. Nothing that change, cause you still look fine. Look how you looking fine.
I thought you hiding. I thought you went for it.
Look how things happen now. Look how things happen now. So let me hug up and squeeze you.
So long I see you.
I don't know when we'll bounce up again. So let me take a little thing until then. So long I see you. Give me a wine now. Give me a wine now. Give me the wine that I want long time now.
Long time.
So long I see you. Give me a wine now. Give me a wine now. And let me make up for all this time. Make up for all this time. It was just last week when I called your name. I did ask your friend and them. When last did I talk to you? So long I ain't talked to you. Go funny, you're in my sight. Didn't know you was here tonight. It looked like you're doing alright, like money running real nice. I thought you hiding. I thought you went for it. Look how things happen now. Look how things happen now.
So let me hug up and squeeze you.
I don't even want to leave you. I don't know when we'll bounce up again. So let me take a little thing until then. So long I see you. Give me a wine now. Give me a wine now. Give me the wine that I want long time.
And is the episode number looking for it?
I see you. Give me a wine now. Give me a wine now. And let me make up for all this time.
Let me make up for all this time. Welcome to episode 160 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. I can't remember which button is which. I can't remember. All you had to bear with me. It go be rough. I easing my way back in. Pause, right? I easing my way back in. I just come to tell all you hello. What's good? How are you going? I miss all you very, 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 very bad. I miss all you. I miss doing this. And I appreciate everybody who sent out messages for me. I'm eternally grateful for everybody who normally all it is gangster me when I don't record or the episode later. And everybody give me a little very gentle. Nobody ain't gangster me. They just gently check in on me and they tell me, I hope everything all right with your sister. I hope you're doing good. Take all the time you need. Like, you know what I mean? I appreciate all the messages with the undertone of what going on. We need you and we weak. We ain't here from you a long time. And I want to say too, right, that I am a podcast fan. Long before I recorded my own podcast, I start my own podcast because of how I used to love listening to other people and love talk radio. You all know the backstory, right? Let me say too that I appreciate all of you going back and revving up the numbers and all the old episodes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody who went back. People went all the way back to episode 1. All you take the time off to catch up all yourself on older episodes. So I know they have some day one people who went back and listen over to all episodes. I thank you very much. But I also very, very grateful for the people who would have gotten onto this podcast when we done reach big numbers already, all in the 80s, 90s. People become fans. And they take a little time and went back to the origin of the podcast and see where it came from and how it evolved. And I'm very grateful for that. I hope I ain't turn all you off with how boring the older episodes was. I don't know what was on them old episodes, and I don't know how all you managed to get through it, but thank you for going back and tuning into some of them in my absence. I appreciate everybody who reached out. That was kind. I felt a lot of love and support, and I heard you. And as a fan of talk radio and podcast, I know how it is when the week come and you ain't get your episode. Case in point, Saturday gone, I turned on from a Joe Budden podcast to get my day started. And I mean, these days I needed more than ever, like just something in my ears to carry me through the day. And it was not there due to some controversy with Joe. Joe didn't want to talk about Puff Diddy and them. It looked like, you know what I mean? Diddy is accused of beating up people and case settled. So he take off the episode. So my Saturday morning miserable when I can't get my podcast. So I know all you bear with me. And I'm glad that you all chose to tune back in and stick with me here. And as far as updates, I leave all in a sad but hopeful mood. So I'll give a quick update on that right before we jump into the episode and the topics of the week. Everything is, my sister is showing very slow progress. She's still with us. She's still fighting a very, very good fight. I mean, unfortunately, since the last time I talked to you all, the other youth in the accident would have passed away. So I want to send condolences to the Cardinal family who are I got a chance to meet under the worst of circumstances, and they couldn't be better people. when people meet under circumstances like those, you never know how it will go. But his mother and father, his sister, his grandmother, they could not be nicer people to be around given the circumstances, and I want to just express my condolences to them. I was at her funeral. It was quite sad, and same with Carissa, who also lost her life in the accident. It's so sad, but condolences to their families. But Dana is there. She's fighting. Still in hospital, but fighting the good fight. So I appreciate all the kind words. I like everybody who reach out to me and say they're sending the prayers. Some people say, well, me no praying man, no, but sharing my thoughts. I appreciate all of it. Any positive thoughts or any positive energy, I appreciate it all the way. She fighting a good fight and putting up a battle. And that battle will continue. She'll be fighting that battle for some time. But we're here. And I opened this episode really missing all, And my plan really was to play songs in this episode that have to do with missing and gone for a long time and who on away, because as the song so I thought it went foreign. I take a little runway to foreign too, which I will tell all you about in this episode. I had a trip planned on regular annual Boys Lime in Miami for kind of like end of November. So I did that. I was very hesitant. I was last minute. I told them fellas, I say, here we're going on. If all you see me on the flight, are coming. If you ain't see me on the flight, I ain't coming with the way things went. But the way things went, I was happy that my sister was here. Salute to my sister Janelle, who was here for all the time, with the family. And her being here gave me a little strength to go, because she's, when the king is absent, the queen could play a role. And the queen came and play a role, so I felt comfortable enough to leave. So my plan was to play songs through this episode. I might still play some, because I have some lined up about missing all you. But when I realized the biggest missing song is How Long I Ain't See You with Nadia Watson, I also had to open this episode with playing Nadia Watson's song for this year, because Nadia Watson's a genius and she just know how to make song. And when you know how to make song, this is the space for you, right?
If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the whole blinking market.
This tune just bad.
Everything fresh, the market open. If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the whole.
That's the part where everybody go cuss.
Looking for sexy to throw inside a basket, I am the whole blinking market. Sweet like a truly mango and jam, stickiness running down all your hand. They say, what a sweet woman. They say, what a nice woman. Skin like cocoa in the sun, and a heart to find like oven and plum. They say, what a sweet woman. They say, what a nice woman.
Yes.
Oh, juiciness. Squeeze my honey juiciness. Bumper looking like a apple, bite into the fruitiness. Everything fresh, look at the shelf. When you come late, everything done sell. If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the whole blinking market. And if you're looking for sexy to throw inside a basket, I am the whole blinking market. All fruits them ripe, coconut with a jelly inside. And if you open your eye, them wide. See everything that you like, so that you like. My things forever in season. Yeah, I'm ready for the squeezing. Hey. Oh, juiciness. Squeeze my honey juiciness. Bumper looking like a apple, bite into the fruitiness. Everything fresh, look at the shelf. When you come late, everything done sell. If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am
The whole blinking market.
and if you're looking for sexy to throw inside a basket, I am the whole blinking market. And market good, bong for bong. Your basket full, bong for bong. Why-yo-yo. I am the hottest thing on the shelf.
juiciness. It's only juiciness. Squeeze me, it's only juiciness. Nadia Watson's a genius, and we must always pause to recognize genius. We must somebody tell me once in life, right? They say anytime you have a chance to witness greatness, try and witness it. And when I was in Miami last in August with my wife, now let me say this, right? Long time I used to bad talk people and say, them people that have money, they always run in Miami, and I've turned into that guy. I've officially turned into that guy. I'm overdoing it. Whenever I meet with financial people again, they are going to have a problem with me because by the end of this episode, I'm probably going to end up in Miami again before the year done. It's just completely overdoing it. I can't afford it. But again, when you get the chance to see greatness, don't ever miss that chance. And one of the reasons I end up in Miami last couple of weeks was that the regular boys trip, we was going and taking the talent, the wildlife, you know what I mean? And the fellas know what I'm talking about. Just go to Miami and taking the wildlife. Not so much the flora, more so the fauna, you know what I mean? Compare it to safari. I don't know what you want to compare it to, right? Just go and take in the wildlife. You make of that what you will, right? And we had a chance in this trip to see, I love stand-up comedy, and I talk about that all the time. For all of y'all who went back to episode 1, you would have heard me say that one of the things I always wanted to do in life was to be a stand-up comedian. When anybody asked me what I wanted to do, they used to say, you know, as a child, people would say fireman or lawyer or engineer or doctor. The first thing I remember saying that I wanted to do, my father said when he asked what I wanted to be, the first answer I ever had was I want to be a star. And the first one I remember is that I wanted to be a comedian. So hence the reason why, I mean, maybe there's part of me living out my dreams in this podcast every week, right? Only bear with me with my stale joke and them. But what we were able to do on this trip is to see somebody who I consider one of the greatest comedians of all time, the great Bill Burr, right? If you're on Netflix and you're into that kind of comedy, Bill Burr is a man who takes serious topic and make joke. Like, remind anybody, you know, thing that you're not supposed to be laughing at, he's make joke about it. And salute to my guys JP Edmundo, and great Osman is now on this trip. It's a privat, you know what I mean? Old PNM money is now on the trip. I mean, privat, you know, is old PNM wealth. So we had a chance to go and see Bill Burr at the Hollywood arena. What is it called that? Anybody who go to Miami or go to Florida know the big guitar hotel, if you want to call it that, when you're trying to head up to Sawgrass and them kind of thing. We went to Hollywood. I keep wanting to say cafe, but Hard Rock. It's not Hard Rock. It's not Hollywood. It's Hard Rock Cafe. The Hard Rock Cafe arena. I don't know what it's called, the place. The hall. We went and see him. And of course, we in the nosebleed section. It was not cheap. But I remember being in Miami with Stacy last time, and we could have gone and see Messi for, it was $400. When I see $400 a ticket and I do some quick maths, I say we're not going to see Messi. And the same thing with Beyonce. The Beyonce ticket was about $400, and I was like, we're not going to see Beyonce. But again, due to this phase of my life here is where I realize how fragile life is, and how you could be with somebody today and you could be not with that person tomorrow. That's serious. So maybe this is what you want to call it, midlife crisis, YOLO, FOMO, whatever I suffering from all of it now. So I going back to that guy who said when you get a chance to see greatness, don't miss it. And we had the chance to get those Bill Burr tickets. We got them and we had a great time at the show. I think Bill Burr is a white boy, he married to a black woman, and his stance on politics as a comedian is a little bit more lenient to the Democrat side, but he's attacked both sides. But very, very funny. Take him in on Netflix if you could. But you had to be open-minded and not too... You can't be easily offended if you're watching Bill Burr, which the crowd there seemed to not know. Because the crowd was predominantly white. Like when he started making jokes about black people and getting into slavery and say, I had to kind of look around to make sure everybody comfortable with me laughing at these things. Same thing when he was making jokes about white people and the Ku Klux Klan. I had to watch around. Because when the KKK jokes come up, ain't too much people was laughing, you know. People wasn't finding that funny, but 4 ways, 4 black people laughing in the middle of the thing, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to tell myself, this could be how the 400 years got started. We could be at year 1 of the 400 because there's no escaping this arena with all these white folks upset here. The torches were could be coming out fast, you know what I mean? But again, we had such a great experience then that we say, well, if we see Bill Burr and we had to check Chappelle. Now, in our minds, we was checking Chappelle, kind of thinking that if we could get to see Chappelle somewhere where it's cheap enough to get a flight and we could afford to do it sometime next year. But it turns out that Dave Chappelle will be in that same Hard Rock Cafe or the Hard Rock Hotel between the 26th and the 30th of December. So I know how to go. I'm saying this here as a way of asking for permission or trying to get my visa stamp home so that when people, I'm hoping that people so excited to hear back recording because nobody was more gently concerned about the podcast than my wife. You know what I mean? She not putting no pressure on me to record. She never really say anything about me recording or not. Every now and again, I will say I'm going and record and she see nothing come out and she say, you end up recording. Because every week I say I'm going and record and sometimes I just don't feel like I have it in me. And she's just saying, end up recording and she's just leave it at that. She don't tell me, well, with my podcast and them things, she's been very, very gentle with it. So I'm using this because I expected that when she see this pop up, she's going to be excited to go on it. And then when she hear it, she's going to buy this reason that I'm going back to Miami again in December. Well, let me see how that go, right? Only pray for me. But I don't want to again. I don't want to miss out on greatness. Because Bill Burr is great, Dave Chappelle is great, but the great Nadia Watson. I just wanted to take a moment to say how great she is. Because when it comes to putting together a song, writing a song, choosing a topic, structuring the song, making the hook, I just want people to appreciate how hard that is to do. Because you could make a nice little tune and a nice little melody. You could make something that catchy. But when you make a song that could turn into slang, like I'm very interested in this era of song making too, because some of these songs could become viral. Like I was in one of the there's a part where you could see some of the talent of Miami, right? I was in one of those establishments. For people who might know, it's a place by the name of Cheetahs. Let's just call it a safari, right? A place called Cheetahs. And in the midst of the Cheetahs, we sit down and we having our enjoyment. We enjoying ourselves. We enjoying the views. You know what I mean? The scenery. We enjoying the scenery in the Cheetahs. And in the midst of the Cheetahs, I hear, what you waiting for? Put your back in it. And Denise Belfort rang out in the club. No, listen. I mean, in the safari. And we jump off with table and start to dance and having a time and balling out, and everybody in the club is watching me like, what the hell is going on with these four people? But the DJ appreciated it, and the DJ let Denise Belfort play for the whole time. It was Trinis. It feels so special here, and not no Meg Thee Stallion version, and the original Denise Belfort version. Put your back in it. So we enjoy ourselves. We became a part of the entertainment. We do a little dance too, you know what I mean? We might take like a little ones too. But when you make songs like those with a line that's so catchy, like put your back in it, what you waiting for? Them things could go viral on TikTok or whatever is the new version of TikTok 10 years from now. And the songs get back live over and over and over. And hopefully that could mine you for generations if you do it right. And I'm feeling like there's nobody who better at doing that than Nadia Watson, because that line, if you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the whole in market. That is a winner by itself. You have to salute that. And the song just giving more and more, because I really like the juiciness part, you know. Bite me, it's only juiciness. I wish Carnival was tomorrow. I ain't never playing mass, you know. Between now and next year. My birthday is after Carnival next year, right? But between now and next year, I got to talk to all you about whether I'm playing mass or not. But salute to Nadia Watson and the greatness of songwriting and putting everything together. Everything about Nadia Watson is ideal. But everybody know who's my favorite artist and who's my favorite songwriter. And every week I'm trying to come here and record, and I can't get the energy to record. But you know who give me the energy to record?
Attention!
I know if to start. What we're supposed to do.
With boldness, within our destiny, we saw the big.
Hey, lyrics.
Side by side we stand. Islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land.
Lyrics.
We pledge our lives to thee. In every creed and race, find an equal place and be called. Bless our nation.
What else?
Every creed and race, find an equal place and be called. Bless our nation. Send out in his hands in the air. Send out in his hands in the air. Send out in his hands in the air. Go up. Send out in his hands in the air. Send out in his hands in the air. Send out in his hands in the air. Go up.
Listen, we're talking about great songwriters. Nobody can escape the fact that Iwer George is one of the greatest songwriters of all time.
Trinidad and Tobago. If I'm Monday, fall on Friday, we don't care. Jump up. If I Tuesday, fall on Saturday, we don't care.
Listen, I just saw my boy Valdez, right? Salute to Valdez, because Valdez so vexed about this song. When you watch the video, all you need to go on YouTube and pull up this video, right? This is Iwer George, Happy People. I will play it back from the top again because great is Iwer George, right? Great is Iwer George, and every song that he sings and every word that he says is powerful, right? And I don't know how he come up with the writing. The writing of the song is amazing. I've never heard a verse put together like this in my long-legged life. But Valdez was the one who pointed out that an Iwer video on YouTube is a lyric video. Somebody tell Iwer he need to do a lyric video for this song. Sometimes you need a lyric breakdown, because you can't understand. You want to get you. Sometimes you love a song so bad you want to learn the lines and things. Somehow I feel like we didn't need a lyric video for this, but in the lyric video for it, your boy Iwer and them spell Tuesday wrong.
Attention! Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer.
If you know it, sing.
With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly
Well.
side by side we stand. Islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. In every creed and race, find an equal place and may God bless our nation. In every creed and race, find an equal place and may God bless our nation.
Send them Trini up in the air. Send them Trini hands in the air.
Send them Trinidad hands in the air, go up. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air, go up. Tell them we happy, just to see another day. We happy, we happy. Trinidad and Tobago, we happy. If I'm Monday fall on Friday,
We don't care.
jump up, jump up. If I Tuesday fall on Saturday,
We don't care.
free up, free up. If I Wednesday fall on Sunday, we don't care. Jump up, jump up. When the weekend come, everybody hand in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Go up. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Send them Trinidad hands in the air. Go up. Tell them we happy. Our young people say we happy.
Happy. Well. Greatest songwriter in the history of calypso, soca, kaiso music. Great Neil P. Iwer George. You cannot beat it. Undefeated. No. People listen to opera. If you don't know and you haven't been keeping up with it, this song released weekend, right? Well. And people in an opera. So to my surprise, I see this song. And I say, I have all the energy in the world needed to record at this moment in time. I used to wonder if I would have find things funny again, what I would have laughed at if I would have been able to do this. And of course, great as Iwer George, my favorite calypsonian, and he bring me right back to the microphone. I say, no, okay, all right, Corey, time to come out of your slumber. Get to it, get to work. Understand? And it could have been only Iwer who bring me right back. I see a man make a video with Marshall singing the pledge. It get that bad to be competitive. So I want to know what people think, because I surprisingly, Stacey sent me a petition now where people petitioning to ban this song. I see a artist, I can't remember the fella name now, who was like he jump on a rhythm in a fete sometime and try to sing the anthem over a dancehall rhythm, the name of which I shall not call. I think it's Kerry John. And the police halfway arrest him. The police say, here we're going on your lockup. So I'm not sure if it's illegal. Like, I was trying to look up to see if there's something illegal about singing the anthem or making the anthem into a song. I mean, definitely copyright and thing would be an issue, right? Because I don't know what Pat Castani do if he leave it open or if he don't own the rights to the song, or if when you write an anthem, the country own the right. But somebody had to own the rights to the song. And you just pops up the whole song and sing every line for line is craziness. But I think I understand what Iwer going for. Iwer going to try to make everybody stand up in the fete when he first started singing the song. And then break where he pointed all them Trini's hands in the air. It's going to work, right? I just want to tell you one time. This song is a hit. And it's going to work. And it's going to be there forever. I've learned over the years not to doubt Neil Iwer George. Because Iwer George, I fed up here people come and say, I wasn't shit with the top, I wanted all them Iwer song. People say that all the time. And as a Iwer fanboy, as one of the people who love Iwer George, And I want to say Iwer George Zamani is love in hindsight, because for me, sometimes when I hear Iwer, like I can't take it myself, right? And I want to play for you a couple of these songs that when people hear it, people say Iwer is the worst. Iwer singing lal and Iwer thing and he disrespecting the art form and he had no respect for the people saying he's singing nonsense. And not just talking about older people now, because I mean we are the older people now, right? I'm in my 40s. Sometimes when I hear what these youths listening to, like I see it on Instagram now, a young artist by the name of Nelly Kotoy. Nelly Kotoy looking like she trying to promote a song by pretending she putting out a man. And you know what I mean? Plenty of artists do this. I believe Prophet Benjamin had do some kind of thing with like some woman he pelt a stone behind some woman cat. And they was promoting. This seemed to be a new thing on social media. Like they do some kind of controversy that caught on camera, hype up their name in social media for those who might not hear about them before, bring them back to the forefront for people who know who they are, and then record a song and put it out. That seems to be the marketing plan for songs now. And I would definitely using this to propel his song to a higher level because he know that would be controversial. He know everybody would have say I was singing nonsense. But the nonsense going on work, people signing petition to get his song banned. People very, very upset. On the all Iwer George posts, which you start 2 and 3 comments before when he's showing you he monkey and he dog and thing on a morning and he walking every morning. You saw, 5, 6 comments. Now they have hundreds of comments with people talking about how disrespectful he is. But I want to go back through a couple of these songs where not just the older generation like me, because when I look at Nelly Kotoy's song, Nelly Kotoy and them singing nursery rhyme. Their songs not good, they're not original, they're taking literally melodies from nursery rhyme. So just like I was taking the anthem, them taking the ABCs, a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. This is the songs they're taking and making hits in this Zest movement, right? Particularly Nelly Kotoy. They're not great songs, but the youths and them love it. Youths are the love their thing. And adults or the older, we had to rebel against the youths while the youths rebel against us, right? That's just normal cycle of life. But why talking about songs that I would like? I talking about fete goers now. People who in the fete, young people, was fed up at Iwer coming and sing nonsense. And I want to play some of them for you. When they come out, there was nonsense. You see this? When this launched, it was nonsense to people.
Selector, give me the wicked Iwer George tune there so fast. You see right now, I want to see
people say nonsense. What kind of thing is this? I set a hand and
press yourself.
and then what happened to this now?
I'd like to see you. My God, take a dump up, take a dump up, take a dump up, jump, take a dump up, take a dump up.
You remember when people were saying that was garbage? This is another one. The first time I hear this, I say, "What I were really singing?"
Selector, play me the rhythm. Start jumping.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Stop. I'm planning to stop sing soca and go and live in Grenada. Start to sing some jump songs, eat lambi and drink with rum. Every night I lie down in my bed, I jump singing in my head, say alio, alio, alio. Trini people I say come to me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come to me.
Ay, ay, ay.
Come to me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come to me. Stop.
Go away from me. Move.
People say, I say this was nonsense the first time I heard it because he say, I plan to stop sing soca and go and live in Grenada. And so jab song, eat lambi and drink my rum. That song too much to me like, I plan to forget Calypso, I'm going to plan Peace and Tobago. It's a song like, you just taking what people do already and try to make it into something. But I remember being in Woodford Cafe at a time, and when he say come to me, and the whole of Woodford Cafe, them days was in movie tongue, end up on his stage with Iwer. And then he say, go away from me, and everybody went back off the stage and in front of the stage. Claire, I said, great is Iwer George. I said, great is Iwer George, and he's not to be doubted or disputed. One of the ones I find was the worst. When I hear the first time, I say Iwer overdoing. I want to remember when he sang Han and the year after that, when people say it's too much of Han, he come and he say a song with more Han now. He's overdoing it with the nonsense. And when I hear this one, I tell myself there is no way nobody gonna listen to this. This will fall by the wayside. This is garbage, and this is either Iwer George fan, but I said this is the worst he ever do. And now this is the biggest song on Iwer performing in Fed.
Jump in the water, take a bed. 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 Take a bed, 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 take a bed. Jump in the water, take a bed.
When I hear Iwer say take a bath, I say, but what garbage is this? Now is the biggest song.
Take a bed, take a bed. 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 All day you having fun, jumping up in the burning sun. Oh na 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 na. It's time to get clean again. Time to take a bed. Time to take a bed. Jump in the water, 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 take a bed.
Time to take a bed. Time to take a bed. I tell myself it's garbage. Complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. And you have to remember that Iwer reinvent himself, because now it's not just that he sing that song and take control of it with that song. Iwer control his bookings for the near future. Anytime you have a water party, you have a fete in rainy season, the song translates into Spanish, where you have, I think, Renzo, one of them Spanish men, singing and carrying the song for him on stage. So I have no doubt that national anthem song gonna become a huge song. The mistake they make is to take it so serious. They should have just ignored Iwer. Like I keep, Stacey was reminding me about that Iwer song I play here where Iwer say, "You're bam bam looking pregnant. You're shaking it like you're ignorant." I just want to say that pregnant and ignorant already rhyme. But Iwer find you need to say pregnant and ignorant on a song with Bravo. That song went nowhere as I expected it to go nowhere, because that is garbage, sanitation. You know what I mean? Twice a week we picking up. Put it out by this guy to the road when you're ready. But this song would also be sanitation. This was headed straight for the landfill, Forest Park, Beta. You choose your choice. That was headed straight for the landfill. But now that Ole get this song all this energy by signing petition and who writes an editorial and thing, now everybody who never heard this song hear it before. And I was not the kind of person who you want to show up on a stage with a song that you hate, you like, or you're vaguely familiar with. Because when he performs the song, you are going to change your mind about everything you said about that song. Because if you write down an Iwer George song, it's not worth the paper it's written on. But when Iwer in front of you singing the song, something different has happened. And I want to go back to where Iwer career started. And my father is always telling me about this story. I had to get Kenny back on this podcast. It was a long time he didn't come here and talk. But he talks about playing in kitchen tents and Iwer coming with that song, trying to get into the tent. He's a brand new artist. The big artists and them done in the tent already. So if you had to do any kind of rehearsal, then you're trying to find your way in. And he come and do rehearsal and sing a song with time getting harder, right? And them fellas and them say Kitchener game the Nadia inside. And then I was started to hand out cheap music to the musicians. And daddy's always talk about men saying, boy, youth, what you doing? What is you doing? You're inside. You're handing out cheap music again. You're inside. And I was saying, which you could imagine him saying in his own Point Fortin style, very, very laid back, roots man style. He said, no, but they my real tune here. They my tune here. They the tune we had to play. And according to Daddy back then, it's only the heavy hitters singing 2 songs in the tent, or singing in the first half and the second half, or doing more than 1 song at all. So men watching him like, brother, you're going to spoil your chances. You're done inside. You're looking to mash up your chance now by handing out some other song. And he said, tears in Iwer eye, and Iwer hand out this song. And you know, I always used to hear this story growing up. And one time, the other day, I bounced up Iwer by Simon's. I go and looking at Quattro in Simon's music shop. And I see Iwer coming to look for instruments. And he said he making a band. He said it was good during COVID time too, right? So he said he was looking for instruments to make a band. He was studying his income basically, because during COVID you're not performing. So he said if I have a band that could do weddings and them kind of thing. And he was also saying he need a space where he could perform his own songs. He said when I go on a fete, I only have time to perform 2-3 songs, and only the 2-3 most recent. He said when I will get to sing my whole catalog, which he have a very big catalog with all due respect, right? And I asked him, I said, but my father's always tell my story. I want to know if it's true. And I tell him this story, and he said, boy, that is truth. That is truth. He said I had to cry to get him to play my second song. And it's since then they're saying I was singing nonsense. So while he's known as a water lord, let me not forget that Iwer is the original boom boom master.
Alright, now it's time to get on bad. When I say bad, I mean bad. Real bad. Now it's boom boom time. Mash it up, mash it up. Shake it up, shake it up.
This is the song he's trying to get him to play.
Rough it up, rough it up. Shake it up, shake it up. I'm in Indian song. Running up she mouth. She says she don't like man. So wine and front she long long.
Yes.
For the carnival, in the heat of the festival, she want a man. So wine behind she bum bum. Wine behind the bum bum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wine down on the bum bum. Oh yeah, yeah. Wine behind she bum bum. For the carnival, I mean, all around the waist. Get on in the place. Wine behind she bum bum. In the festival, Lord. Walk it up, walk it up. Jam it up, jam it up.
Some people might be Iwer George fans and never hear this, but this is what I want him map.
Rough it up. Jam it up, jam it up. The lady come watch me.
Yes.
Straight up in my face, Lord. Rolling up she belly, twisting up she waist. She said, Mr. Iwer,
Yes.
when you're singing soca, I want a man. Go wine behind the bum bum. Wine behind the bum bum. Wine down on the bum bum. Wine behind the bum bum. For the carnival, I mean, all around the waist. Get down in the place. Wine behind the bum bum. In the festival, Lord. Rough it up, rough it up. Twist it up, twist it up. Roll that bum bum. Roll that bum bum. If the bum bum big, bum bum small, me ain't afraid them at all. Bum bum big, bum bum small, I put 10 weights on. Or if the bum bum big, bum bum small, me ain't afraid them at all. Bum bum big, bum bum small, I put 10 weights on. Or if the bum bum big, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Oh, then check this, check out this, check it out good. Put a woman in front and a man behind. Bet your life she bound to wine. If a woman in front and a man behind, watch him good, that is wine. If a woman in front and a man behind, bet your life she bound to wine. If a woman in front and a man behind, watch him good, that is wine. Bum bum small, me ain't afraid them at all. Bum bum big, bum bum small, I put 10 weights on. Or wine behind she bum bum. Wine down on the bum bum. Wine behind she bum bum. Body carnival, I mean, all around the waist. Get on in the place. Wine behind the bum bum. In the festival, Lord. Mash it up, mash it up. Jam it up, jam it up.
I want to be honest with me, and all you know that Iwer George. Show your age now. Tell me if you know it. If you don't know it, you're showing your age, so I just want it to be known. So when people sign in petition and thing for them thing, right? Listen, you see the idea of banning a song? It is a bad idea. I want to say that in this era we're in, it's already impossible to ban a song because where you're banning it from? Back in the days, I was saying Boom Boom Time in 87, right? Boom Boom Time might have been banned too because I saying Boom Boom in 87 just so, right? We ears get a little less sensitive over the years. But me, I know if you could have played Boom Boom Time on the radio them time. But back then, you're hearing all your music from one source. Radio is not the number one source where people consume music now. The people consuming music more on YouTube and them kind of things, Spotify, Apple Music, and them kind of places more than waiting on the radio to play. So when you sign a petition and everybody make Iwer George song the most popular song now, what you think gonna happen to the views on YouTube? The views gonna go up, and the comments. I could tell you, like the comment section on YouTube, Iwer comment section. For his average songs, it takes years to reach a level where the comment section done reach out. Let me see if I could get a number of comments for you. The song right now released a couple of days ago. It done at 111 comments and 16,000 views. All you want to check back with me next week to see how much views it's on and how much comments it's on. Some people vex like hell. So people saying, so suppose I supposed to stand at attention for half the song? Yes, you've done that before, many times. You've done that in fets before. And nobody else will be thinking about being disrespectful to a song that should be special to their country. But again, Mr. George isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Maybe this song is, maybe it's a good song and the politicians and the 1% will learn the national anthem. So people going off on this thing. As somebody here say, censoring songs is a necessity. There are many songs allowed on the radio. This is a standard. Once a DJ plays a song, then we are okay. No, this could never be. So the people against it, they want to ban, but it is useful. It's useless trying to ban a song. Okay, everybody going to run about this. Everybody have an opinion. And we just take Nadia Watson's song, which is as close to perfect as a song could get. I want the sweetness to put inside a basket. I am the whole song nice. We're going to making this now the most popular song for Carnival 2024. Better they had just, if they had ignored it, it would have reached right where Bam Bam looking pregnant and you're shaking it like you're ignorant. It would have been the same place. But now they make this the #1 song and people probably can't wait for Iwer to come and see this song to see if the police lock him up, to see what has happened behind this song. But for all the songs that I say was nonsense, there's no reason for me to believe Iwer ain't gonna come and mash up people. When he come with this tune, he gonna mash up just like he always does before he get locked up.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope.
And I hope all is sign up every time I play this.
Let's make it our destiny. We solemnly.
Well.
Side by side we stand. Islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Yeah, every creed and race find an equal place and may God bless our nation. Yeah, every creed and race find an equal place and may God bless our nation.
I was just playing that to say salute to the great Angus Eve. The great Angus Eve. Another man who they keep doubting. Somehow, people, I don't know what it is about Angus Eve. I don't know if it's because he's a local. I'm not sure if he was people's favorite player when he was a player. I'm not sure if it's the normalization committee and the fact that Trinidad football in shambles. But, or maybe it's just this social media era. Because since social media coming in full swing, this is the first time our national team half decent. Because we was all right under, what the man named? Joe Hart, Kevin Hart, Calder Hart, Stephen Hart. We was playing pretty decent football under Stephen Hart at a point in time. We did beat the USA. No, Stephen Hart didn't beat the USA. The man who beat the USA might have be St. Fleet, you know. Come in to think about it. When Alvin Jones scored a goal, who was Trinidad coach, boy? Trinidad versus USA at Bolden. Let me see if I could find this out. It might have been St. Fleet. I think Stephen Hart had already gotten fired. Background, sorry, Christian Pulisic was there. I remember that. Who was the team? Matt Summary, Gonzalez. All right, yeah, this is the right game I have here, but I'm not seeing who the coach was. I can't see who the coach was, surprisingly. Usually there's... Oh, manager was Dennis Lawrence. Sorry, with all due respect, Dennis Lawrence. Sorry about that. I would hate to put Dennis Lawrence with St. Fleet. But I remember Kevin Molino was injured and was in his stands really watching the game at that point in time. Who was one of our greatest goal scorers. Recently retired. Let me see if he will come back now. But somehow, Angus Eve figure out something, because for the first time since that Atto Bolden fiasco, where, if you remember, the American players come here and was bothered. The reason they played Atto Bolden is because we had no chance to qualify. The stadium was never going to be full, so they really just went to a smaller venue to make it look like it's full and, you know, sell tickets cheaper or whatsoever it might be, and make use of some of the venues that we have. I find more of our games should play in Manny Ramjohn, Atto Bolden, Larry Gomes, Dwight York Stadium and stuff. Because our games don't really sell out like that until the team playing good. So maybe play it in the smaller stadiums, let the communities come out and support it. And hopefully get a bigger crowd where we could use our crowd to intimidate some foreign teams, you know what I mean, for the smaller tournaments too. But after that win in Atto Bolden Stadium, since that 2-1, which we like to talk about a lot, that was in 2017, a World Cup qualifier. we've conceded 22 goals against the US, right? Coming and going is licks. I think out of the 22 goals we conceded, we might have scored 1 over the years. And we get licks like dirt. The one we score might be under Angus, so I think we lose 6-1, but it's licks like peas every time the US reach us, because that loss in Trinidad was enough to eliminate USA from the World Cup that would have been in 2018. And it was a big scandal in the US media. The way the team came in and they had a little flooding, and men didn't want to get their pretty little boots wet on the track, so men had to get them jockey back to come on the field, and they kind of laugh at we as third world and pour on their Twitter. And then they get licks coming and going. So that ended up propelling us to be in some kind of thing in the folklore of US football where we knock them out. You know how these things is going in sports, right? It's kind of hang around for a while and become part of the story. So every time they had to come Trinidad to play, there's a big story around it. So it was with pride that they beat us 6-0 and 3-0 and 5-0 and they beat, you know what I mean? The team's glad to whip us when they get the chance to whip us. But the stat still remains that of the last 4 games we play against the States, they only win 1 when we play in Trinidad. So we win 2, draw 1, and lose 1 against the States. So in recent history, if you want to use numbers to build my argument for why Trinidad is the greatest football team in the world, we competing with the best team in CONCACAF right now once we bring them here. And last night proved that again. I was following the CONCACAF Nations League, and I started talking about that since last time I recorded and talk about football. And we had beaten Guatemala as expected. Somehow we lost to Curacao, which I didn't like. But what I liked about the Guatemala game is we was down 2-0, I believe, and we come back and win 3-2. The team showing a different level of fight under Angus. Clearly, Angus Eve figure out something, right? And I appreciate him for that. But it does seem as though, it seems like he's the only man who have faith in Angus Eve as a coach. They say he's changed up the side too much. He's played too defensive. The comments wild. And I remember one of the last things I was saying is that winning, it shuts up most people. You could be critical of somebody as much as you want, but when you win games in sports, whether as a player or as a coach, you're going to silence your critic at some point. But somehow, your boy Angus is unable to silence any kind of critics. Is a rough life. It's a rough life. People still don't have a lot of faith in him, and I don't want to talk about this 2-1 against the States as a win necessarily in isolation, because we did lose an aggregate 4-2, and that game could have taken us to the Copa America, right? But the reality is that we play against the US. We got ourselves here by having 2 convincing wins over Curacao and Guatemala, and then we lost to Curacao in some strange. I didn't like that, because I mean, them kind of sides we had to be whipping, we had to be beating them when we catch them, right? We can't play with them kind of teams. We had to separate ourselves. We're back in the top 100, thanks to Angus Eve. Because our results before Eve, they was deplorable under Fenwick, under... who else was the coach before Eve? Our results were deplorable. The team was unwatchable. We just getting licks from a little small side and thing country where St. Eustatius, them fellas about 36 people. The whole team on them team, the Prime Minister's place, the centre back. And we getting licks from them fellas who are struggling and drawing with Puerto Rico and thing. Puerto Rico now, they now open the Dick Sporting Goods in Puerto Rico now start to sell football thing. And we struggling with them teams. So at least we at a point now where we looking decent and we competing. And we went to the States earning a quarterfinal berth. And we compete for 80 minutes now. I don't know Noah Powder. If you're watching him, Noah Powder get a red card, right? This is a... what Noah Powder is playing? Central defense or central midfield, like defensive midfielder. But wherever he playing, he make one of the worst tackles I've ever seen. You on a yellow card, the man in your own half, you make a tackle and get a red card. But up to that point, USA had all the possession, all the shots on goal. We didn't have much. But USA didn't have a single shot on goal that was very threatening up to that point. The team was getting frustrated by not being able to break us down. It reminds me a lot of playing against Sweden in Dortmund, where we was able to hold the team. We went down to 10 minutes, about 60 minutes, and we still hold them for another 20 minutes. And people might forget that the goal they score on us. I mean, I ain't like how we keepers began beat first post. I didn't like that too much. But other than that, the keeper had a great game. Our keeper was great, Smith. But he really got, I mean, that was a world-class goal. It was a cross that come out and a man take a flick and it's scored. And then I think we kind of lose shape. But again, with 10 minutes, it's going to be difficult. Noah Powder born in the States, so I'm watching Noah Powder different. I know if you sell out for your thing, I know his situation. I know what's going on with Noah Powder, but that was a terrible tackle. So we end up losing 3-0 over there. And then by the time we come to Trinidad, it was always an uphill task. We'd have had to win 4-0 to go through, which, I mean, a 4-0 win against the States would be just short of a miracle. But if anybody could pull off a miracle, it's Angus. And we concede early. Then, if I thought Noah Powder red card was ridiculous. That you Dest from the States is one of the most stupid red. Like, he wanted to go back home. Because he kicked away the ball for nothing. Cuss up the referee for nothing. When you won up in a game with over 2 legs, you 4-0 at this point, comfortably bossing the game. And I mean, credit to Angus to the game turned up and we scored soon after that red card. I find we struggled to score again. You know what I mean? I like how he made 3 changes and he was supposed to get, young, strong legs on, and they never looked threatening to USA after that second goal. And again, the great Alvin Jones scoring a world-class free kick. You know what I mean? I said I'm going to watch that game with Zachary. I was never going in the stadium for that, but salute to them. A win is a win. It's not exactly a win because we lost 4-2 in aggregate, but we beat the USA, which bodes well for my qualifying campaign for 2026 because now, well, we don't have to beat USA again, but at least we know home time, the best team that they have, that they send here, should be frightened when they come to our stadium. And I saw one comment that somebody was saying, listen, when you lost 3-0 abroad, the better thing to do is that advertise the game heavy, make it free, and fill the stadium and see if you could get intimidation factor. You know, because, I mean, you had to go all out. You could lose that game 6-0. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if you win by a small margin or you lose. So it would be good to see us go all out. But for Angus Eve's legacy, for his tenure and everything, next game is in March where we have some chances to qualify for Copa America still. I know what happens when we go Copa America, but he might play with 9 defenders and 2 keepers. But let me see how it go. At least we gain exposure so that by the time we come for qualifying for the World Cup, we're supposed to be beating people. I'm sure this result will help us move. I think we're 99th in the world now, but America is 11. So hopefully this gets to jump a few more points. Sorry about the long sports thing, but all you know how I feel about the Warriors, right? You know how I feel about the Warriors. And we looking like we headed in the right direction. So please, let me try and post we support behind Angus. Because I'm not sure why he's such a hated figure. I'm putting it down to the fact that people don't like the normalization committee and Häagen-Dazs. What's the Häagen-Dazs man name again? Haddad. I'm putting it down to that, and hopefully we get somewhere beyond this point, right? But I did promise only some songs about missing people. And I just want to play a slice of this before coming and talk about some articles. This episode not overly long. I just getting back into the grooves, but they have some things that I want to point out. But before that, I want to play one of my favorites when it comes to missing people. Tell me the name of this singer now. You know, Kaisa? Listen, I see an article in the papers. I want to point out this is for the long. Now, I had one set of old thing here too were outdated, but I had to go back to some of them. Only forgive me, but I had to go back because there was one thing that I had in my notes for a long time to talk about. Well, this is a girl I believe is in Sipario, and they were talking about her in Sipario. Oh, they had a video going viral. Sorry, where she cussed up the teacher, right? She cussed up the teacher. This is something I had to talk about for a long time. And I mean, you all know, I mean, plenty of people who listen from back in the day know my philosophy about fairness and grace and second chances. So they're probably seeing where I'm going with this already, right? Especially people who get a chance to go back and listen to episodes before. Well, you know, I always begging for somebody, right? So I come really to beg for the young girl because the article really, the history of events was that she followed with the teacher. She was extremely disrespectful. There's nothing you could do to excuse her behavior, right? I want to put that out there. And a part of it, the teacher seemed shocked and a little bit afraid of the little girl, and the girl was getting in the teacher's face something. And I was planning to tell some stories about my very disrespectful ways in school and so on, but I now come back. I can't tell all about that now. a fresh back. I can't expose myself at this point. Some of the things I've said, right? The teachers. Like, I can't tell all you how I was in a class, so I wasn't supposed to be in a time in Fatima. And this is not I'm not doing sciences, I doing business, but any science class, liming and talking, my back turned to the teacher while she's teaching. And I can't tell only that was Miss Lutchman, who was a very young teacher. When you think about it now, she might be 21, 22, fresh out of school, teaching in school. fresh out of convent and teaching in Fatima. And I ain't gonna tell her how she tell me I had to come out of the class, and I ain't not even in this class, and she going on a rant, and I ain't even turned wrong, and I was like, Miss, take your time with me. And everybody laughed because I living for a laugh since then, right? And she was so upset. She said, I go into the dean and say, Miss, I do business about no dean. Me and him turn around to watch you woman. And that's why I can't tell her this story. And then she say, young man, you are so disrespectful. You need somebody to blow your trumpet. And I say, hey, only my girl could blow my trumpet. Licks like fire. You know how much beg I had to beg not to get suspended when the dean come and sing, but the dean was also find I was funny. Salute Mr. Tapping at the time. He find out she was funny as hell, so he didn't suspend me. But she was very, very disrespectful, and I depended in this life on the second chances and the grace of many, many, many people to be able to see my way. And I mean, now that it's dealing with as the amount of tragedy I see in the last month and a half, no self, I want to give everybody grace. Everything I do, I want to tell people I'm sorry. And I want nobody had to tell me sorry ever. I want to forgive fast because I know the reality of life now, where you could be here today, go on tomorrow. You could be here today and be a completely different person tomorrow. I see that live, and it's hard to grasp. So even more, I want to offer people grace. So I was really coming here to say that when they expelled the little girl from school, yes, she had to be punished, right? And yes, it was bad that in the midst of the thing, she say, I will call my mother, and she called and she say, Mommy, and was talking to the mother on the phone. Now, what I will tell you is, that story about the trumpet, this is going to be the first time my mother ever heard that story, because frightened up to now, frightened to tell my mother I was doing them things, because I frightened. That's why I can't tell the story. I can't tell you the story about when the teacher called me out and I making noise and it's ruckus in the class, and the teacher tell me, listen, you pack up all your bags and come to the top right hand corner of this class and stand there for this whole class. I ain't gonna tell you how I take my time and must be put every book. It must take me 15 minutes. The whole class stop and the place quiet now. And I take my time, I empty my desk, I take my time. Cause the taking my time thing, right? And before I say the trumpet thing, it was really to get everybody attention, you know, because it's 40 people in a class and everybody might not see what's going on. So since then, I have a little comedic timing, you know, which I learned from Bilber and them, right? I seen how Bilber and them is doing it now. But I had to get the whole room attention before I do what I do. So I take my time and I pack up. And when the class gets silent, I take my time and walk up to the class now. And when I reach in the corner, I throw up my books up in the corner in the ceiling and I start to climb up. He said, young man, what are you doing? I say, sir, you tell me go in the top right-hand corner of the class. When you talk about class clowns, professional class clowns you're dealing with, I live in for these moments when I go to school. Once again, I had a beg off suspension. But again, there's no point in life where I will think, put God out my thoughts to even say the words, call my mother or call my father. Because my mother mad and my father mad. And I ain't calling them to come into school. So when I see the girl call her mother, I say, oh Lord, what is happening at home where you could be so comfortable to pick up your phone? But mommy, I would have never try to let my parents on, and me and talk about my parents alone, and my bigger cousins, me and Carol and Barney and them know me. Listen, it's problems. It's problem. I wouldn't let them know the things I do in the school. Not an aunt, not an uncle, not a big cousin. I just playing the fool on my own. So I realized this girl coming from a household where certain things not as tightly run as they were in my school. I can't play it for you because it really sung bad and I feel for the teacher, but I really feel for the student when I see she get expelled from school. And now, I mean, we can't do that. We had to punish them, but to punish is not to condemn. You know my feeling about jail and all them things. I don't find them things right. You cannot end somebody's life because of a mistake they make or bad choices that they make. What we have to do is be more there for them and give them support. Yes, she shouldn't be able to show back up to school the next day and do that again. I agree with that, right? But it can't be just kick you out of the school system and let you fend for yourself. Because what you think going to happen if somebody who emboldened enough to do that at that age and talk to adults like that and call them mother, when they left by the wayside out of the school system and we don't put something in place to replace that, or what she needs is extra love and extra care and extra discipline, not less. So when she have less structure and less to look forward to, and what do you think going to happen to her? Bob Marley say you could run, but you can't run from yourself. You know, she's a part of us. She in the same society we living in. And if we just leave it to be where she expelled from school and we have to face her again in life. We had to face her again. I don't want to put it on her that she will end up in a life of crime, but when society is showing you what it's showing you in Trinidad today, I don't like the talk about migrating too much. This podcast teaches me a lot about people who live in abroad. So because I used to say, boy, once they leave Trinidad, it's a fraud. But now I'm starting to understand what people going through when they live in abroad and so on. And now I'm thinking about migrating more and more because this thing where I see a thing yesterday, a man going in an insurance thing, kill the ex-wife, shoot the ex-wife, I think the woman dead, run out, shoot a man and kill him. The man just driving. He come in, if it's a ride share driver, or he just park up outside, kill the fella, take the car and go on and kill himself. A man who I just in my car, the woman just doing her insurance thing, you don't leave this man, you and this man done. But society cannot escape the way we raise people. If we collectively, we can't keep saying this thing where it's a parent's responsibility. That is true. Your household is responsible for raising you. But if your household drop the ball and society don't pick up the slack, we still going to be living here. And then when your wife leave you or you get a little horn and you want to kill the driver outside the thing, you ain't even just shooting you, you just killing random people. We can't escape the way we raise people. We can't escape what society is. Society, we live in here. Even for people who live in abroad and get a chance to come back. Imagine you live hard, you live out there and you work hard. I see so many examples of people who went out there, clean people floor and see about people white children and do them things for years, collect the little money now, buy a nice house in Trinidad and I feel you could come and relax. Somebody kicking in your door as an elderly person. We had to change the way we see youth and who responsible and things because when I was growing up, my mother and them was over responsible. Them was too responsible as far as I'm concerned. But it wasn't just my mother. It was my uncles and my aunts and my big cousins and them. On my father's side now it's same thing, uncles and aunts. I'll always remember our cousin who's listening to this podcast, salute to my guy Marlon. I always remember that he was a cousin to us. So it's not like an authority figure. But he and our next cousin Carla, they were the older of all the cousins, about 15 away. But them wasn't your friend. These cousins and they laughing and things with you, but them men in charge when they home. And my grandmother and my grandfather going to work, my grandmother going one way, or she can't control me again, and my father out he working or whatever he doing, everybody out the house. It's not like you could have just run riots when Marlon and Carla and them around them putting you in your place. You can't. It's not just a free for all. And then when a Sunday come, no, as the least religious man you could ever come across. But when a Sunday come back in the day, I go in St. Crispin's Church on a morning, then Unity midday, Then Sunday school in Ebenezer in the evening. So the church play a role. I used to go and play football now in the park in St. James. A man named Kujufi. Up to now, like, I just wonder sometimes, like, what make people like Kujufi give his life to being a football coach and Kuji just coaching us? I don't know that he ever used to get pay. I don't know how we used to organize transport for us to go. Me, I know if my mother used to send money to pay for us to go games. We have water to drink. We you know what I mean? We play football. I don't know what make people like Japa and them who run a Huse yard, organize cricket thing, and we go and play people in cricket in the center. I'm not sure what make people do those things, but a big part of it is the community was seeing about it. It wasn't just left to your parents. So even youths in our area, I ain't call no names, right? But there are youths in our area who parents wasn't stable. They wasn't also structured like my mother and them was a little over stable. But it wasn't like that. They didn't have much of a household, but they still had the community, they still had the block, they still had the sports, they still had the church. So even on the block, right? The block was a place where my father never liked to see me on the block. But one of the things I used to happen on the block all the time is that a fella named Carlos living on the corner I remember him every time I come from school and I want to lie on the block because I want to be one of the boys. Carlos always used to say, go home and change that uniform. Don't stay on the thing with your school uniform. Which is a kind of discipline in itself, you know. I can't disrespect Carlos. I would not take God out of my thoughts because Carlos is going to hit you some slap. Listen, that's not going to end well, right? Carlos is going to hit you some slap. So they had a certain amount of structure and discipline and consequences and reward that was happening in different parts of the society, in the church, in the community, in the sports, in all those different things. And I'm not saying that our generation was any better than any other. I think this young generation is the best that the world had to offer. And the one after them will be better. Them is the ones who taking the world ahead. Like, I want to talk a little bit about Diane Gadsby Dolly talking about the education system and whether we're producing winners or losers. But we can't leave this, we can't go steps backward now because the families get more nuclear. It's just mommy and daddy and the children. So which means if mommy and daddy disappear, the structure fall down completely. I grew up in a household where if mommy and daddy disappear, I still had 10, 15 sort of different people to answer to. It was a big household. So we go into a society now where neighbors don't know one another. We isolating ourselves from everybody, the children growing up on their own. So when mommy and daddy go on and they get, or mommy and daddy don't have the structure, don't have the tools, or, you know, they're dealing with addiction or something that the parents dealing with that causing the household to fall apart. We just let them come out in the society and be whatever. I think is a huge step backward. And I want to play a little tune here. A little tune from an artist that I love by the name of Brigo. And it's one of the best songs I could find in relation to this little girl getting expelled. And I hope she find plenty guidance with this expulsion. Taking this little tune.
When I was a little fella growing right here in this land, I used to see the other little fella showing respect to the elder one. But today, around the corner, all of that changing entirely. Today they marching you, squeezing you, bouncing you, shooting you without saying sorry. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking in the dark. As long as man have no respect for man, man how to catch good hell in this land. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking in the dark. As long as man have no respect for man, man how to catch good hell in this land. When I was a little fella and my parents sent me to school, all why beat around the corner, I had to show respect as a rule. But today, it got some little fella, my friend, they don't know their place. They will see I and you walking up and down the street and cussing in front of me face. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking in the dark. As long as man have no respect for man, man how to catch good hell in this land. Like if we walking, like if we walking. As As long as man have no respect for man, I know to catch good hell in this land. When I was a little fella, growing in my parents' place, I used to see a lot of supper. I had to bow and say me grace. But today, he got some little fella, my friend, they don't know their place. They will see I am you walking up and down the street and cussing in front of the face. Like if you walking in the dark, like if you walking in the dark. As long as my respect for man, I know to catch good hell in this land. Like if we walking, as long as man no respect for man, I know to good hell in this land. When I was a little fella, growing in my parents' place, just before I go to take my supper, I had to bow and see me grace. But today, he got some little fella, my friend, you tell them time to eat. They will not give thanks to the man above, the one that have them on their feet. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking in the dark. As long as man have no respect for man, man know to catch good hell in this land. Like if we walking, like if we walking, but with no respect for man, man know to catch good hell in this land. When I was a little fella, growing in my father's land, I used to see a lot of ma and papa showing respect to little children. But today, got some ma and papa going to be the children downfall. Because a lot of us just studying cash, not studying to train we kids at all. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking in the dark. As long as man have no respect for man, I know to catch good hell in this land. Like if we walking in the dark, like if we walking, and have no respect for man, I know to catch good hell in this
land. Kaiso. So I'm going back to Gatsby Dolly here, right? She said, are we producing winners or losers? Education expert highlights the challenges in the school system. The education system in Trinidad and Tobago is producing winners and losers. This is the view of education expert Professor Pedro Antonio Noguera of the USR Rossier School of Education, University of South Carolina in the US. We want to hear from the US or all lost, but anyway. Speaking to UE and the Guardian Life Premium Open Lecture Series 2023 on the theme of redefining educational success, post-pandemic challenges and opportunities at the St. Augustine campus. Noguera said the inequity in schools in the country was glaring. He said, no matter where you live in Trinidad and Tobago, we know the school your child attends is supposed to provide an education that is sound, stimulating, and safe. If that's not the case, then we are producing winners and losers, and we cannot afford to lose anyone. We also know that part of the tradition we've inherited in education is colonial tradition, and there needs to be more of a cultural process. Noguera was born in New York, but is Trinidadian, Venezuelan, and Jamaican heritage. Your father was wrong. Said schools that function in a colonial system are designed to reproduce a colonial world. He said that they were designed to produce passive, obedient pupils. Let me repeat that, right? He said that the school system, they function in a colonial system and is designed to reproduce a colonial world. He said that they were designed to produce passive, obedient pupils. Tell me if that was what your school experience was like. I find so, to be honest, because a big part of the school experience was really to make us obedient and passive. And I want to say not like obedient in terms of discipline, more obedient in terms of simply do as I say. It doesn't matter if you have you can't question it, you can't get to the root of why you do things, and it was difficult to do that in school. I mean, that wasn't what it was about. It was about making cogs, you know. I mean, you had to fit in a space, you know. We built schools to create factory workers. So he went on to say these schools are designed to serve these old needs. So as we contemplate our future and think about this generation of younger people that we serve, ask how many of them will be forced to lead and how many of them will end up in the USA, in Canada, or somewhere else in the world seeking opportunities. We can't continue to lose so much talent. And so while we want our schools and universities to be positioned to respond to the needs of society and prepare for the future, we have to ask ourselves, how are they doing this work? How do we teach critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, and character? How do we ensure that when they leave our schools, they are prepared for not just another test, but for life? As we contemplate how to go about this change, we have to ask ourselves, how do we strike balance between the purpose of education and life? I liked his stance and some of the things he was saying. It's a little bit of a long article, right? And he was quoted well. I appreciate the Express for putting forward this piece of information about him and the things he had to say about our system, because that's one of the things I find is a critique that we hear often about our education system. I don't think it's designed for mass, and if you don't fit into the mass, you could get very hard on yourself and start to feel like you're dunce. Like I went through a big part of primary school feeling like that's a dunce, like I can't cope. It's hard to follow. I didn't know until I was almost an adult that when I was in Newtown Boys, my grades were good and I was coming 30-something in class. I was always in the A stream. I never thought about that. I never thought about the fact that, Corey, you're in the A stream and you're qualifying for the A stream classes all the time, which means you already have something in you. My problem was that I was last in the A stream, so every time I had to carry on my report book and it's saying 30-something in tests and the class had 30-something people, I'm feeling real bad. And I'm watching the boys who come in first and second in tests and I was like, amazed by how bright they were. When you look back at it now, they were coming first and second in class at 99%, and I was coming 30th with 92%. So, you know, even in the way it communicated to you, how you're coming along and what you're doing, all standard 5 teachers, God bless her soul, Miss Sinclair, would have always had me down as going to my first choice, but I didn't know these things because, again, according to what your name, Noguera, this system is designed to produce passive, obedient people. So if I feel like I'm doing bad or you're telling me bad, I hold on to a lot of them things all through. Life is really in UE. I might have started to accept, or possibly A-levels, repeating A-levels, that I started to accept that, okay, I could actually do this education thing. And I think that's why more than ever, I enjoy lecturing. I enjoy doing, I don't know if I could teach training, to be honest. I don't have the patience to keep the class quiet. Like, salute to Stacy and them and all the teachers who listen to this. Like, you see the talking while I talking and I have to keep you quiet and try to get you focused. I dealing with adults. So if I teach in a class here and I talking to Ollie and Ollie paying attention and you Ollie start to talk to one another, I just turn the next direction and start to talk to somebody else. Or on Zoom, I just do the class. If people feel not to answer questions, I go on as you paying for this and the parents ain't paying no more. So I kind of like adult education, but the reason I enjoy it, to be honest, is that I like to hear the struggles people have with education and the way they see education and the way they see themselves as being capable or not of learning a topic or passing an exam or whatever. And kind of meet people where they are and help them to unlock something in themselves that, for me, right, when I was learning elders' lessons, and there were a few teachers too who, I mean, I can't go through a whole list of people, but Mr. Ramsing in Fatima was one of them people who teach me economics. And they were not just teaching you to pass the class at that young age. You think about it. When you're doing economics, is 13 and 14 years old. That's a hard concept to grasp. I never worked for $1 a day. Why know about economics? I don't know. I don't have any practical examples of it that I could fall back on to relate to what he's saying. But I felt as though people like Mr. Ramsing, Mr. Gibson, and them was teaching you a lot about life, like to prepare you to learn anything more than just econ. Because one of the things that Mr. Ramsing always used to focus on was how you take your notes. So he would look at how you take the note and come and gently, I don't like people ball at me. Up to now, I can't take people balling at me, so talk to me nice. But when he come, he will tell you, all right, but if you take the note like this, how you going to remember that is 4 things? Why you don't put it in bullet points and make it? Them things sound so obvious now, but when you're young and you're now learning the world, I was like, well, yeah. And you remember we in school went on no PowerPoint, you know? So I had to say, well, all right, the 4 parts of our economy is land, labor, capital, and enterprise. And I put them in 4 lines now. And I could visualize my notes. I could understand it. You know, so he was teaching me econ, yes. But if I applied that in physics, it could help me to learn it and see it clearer too. So I appreciated him for the way he approached education as a whole, not just as a passing as an exam. So I try to listen to students a lot and hear where their insecurities are, where their weaknesses might be. And I ain't just preparing you for my class and my exam and them kind of thing. I trying to show you, listen, exams passable. You're not going to know how to do some questions. That's fine. You know the material. You could fall back on your own experience. You could talk about your own work in life and so on. And I had this opportunity recently where, salute to Star Broadcasting and Nigel Nicholson, where I was a student for a long time, learning radio broadcasting. And he reached out to me the other day and I very reluctantly accepted his his call for me to come and teach podcasting to these, well, I'm saying youths, right? But it's people of all ages. Same adult teaching, right? Or learning. And my fear in doing it and my reluctance to do it was really because I feel like, listen, I don't know much about this. I figuring out this as I go along. I trying to learn this as I go. I try to figure out how to, like I tell them, the first time I get a mixing board and decided I want to do a podcast, it took me 4 hours just to figure out how to work the mixer. Then they tell me how to come on YouTube. It take me long. I'll see how much episodes I have where it's out of focus. I hope this one not out of focus. But I don't know how to use the camera very well. Plenty people reach out to me and help me with that. Plenty people. Like every now and again, so my boy Naldo will tell me, listen, try this, try that. Do. Or my guy from Affordable Imports will tell me, try this, try a background. You know what I mean? A lot of people reach out and help me and say, well, all right, listen, do this differently. And I learn as I go along. Because most of my learning has come from a formal education system, sometimes I underestimate how much I've learned in an unstructured way to be able to do this. Because, to tell you the truth, if you want to start a podcast tomorrow, I could help you. I could help you save money. I could help you with where to go. And as I told you all before in a few episodes, like I do produce a few podcasts for people now where I could get their episode out and take the work away from them. But when Nigel told me to come and teach it, I kind of from the school where to teach something, you have to have a master's degree in it, in my mind, right? So I always hesitant, and Nigel tell me, boy, people want to, come music man. And Nigel, and salute to Chester Sambrano, who teaches the course. Chester from CNC3, right? The students come there to do TV, and they say they get a lot of traction with students when they say podcasting is part of the learning. So Chester has always introduced me as the number one podcast, and he kind of like, oh Lord, I don't know. And I'm not sure if I could give these people anything. And I don't want to waste people time and people money. I don't want to waste my money and my time either by going up there to do something that's not worthwhile. But this is the second time I did it here recently, and I really appreciated the opportunity to do it because it's just like lecturing anything else. I see young, enterprising people who want to try this. You can see they have a love and a passion for it. And I'll tell you this, when you're teaching a class of broadcasters, I people who like to talk, so I had to learn how to control people talking and them kind of thing. I want to talk out the whole 2-3 hours and they want to talk it out too. But it was nice to see people who were enthusiastic about it, who was genuinely interested in why I do. You know why I hesitate with a lot too? Like, why gonna tell these youths about all this Brigo and all this boring thing I play with very, very boring to them? But I need to stop saying that. Because when I go to episodes, like there were a few students who would recognize me from little clips and things that we do that went viral. And when I play clips of it, or you would find that in every class, students hold on to a lot of things I say, or you get some young person who started listening to it and I didn't know all this calypso. So hopefully one of them listen today and find out I was a boom master and not just the water lord. But it's like that, I have a purpose for why I do this, and I could see and hear and feel their purpose and why they want to do it. And I could help them, I could tell them that, listen, what you're looking at now is not what I started off as, and it's not what I want to be either. It's still a work in progress. I'm trying this, and to be very, very open. I learned something from one of them students. I want to say her name is Candice, and that's why I should have recorded the week after it happened, because I think it's Candice, but it started with a C or something, so I can't remember. But what she was trying to tell me, and she said it a few times in class before I grasped, she was like, yeah, you just have to show up as yourself. It don't matter if you're funny. It don't matter if the podcast, the music good or the thing. She said, you show up as yourself, your audience is going to like you the way you are. And I held on to that a lot, because them times I'm struggling to record, because this thing with Dana on my mind, I don't be in the mood or in the hospital at one point twice a day. And it's quite, I live in Chicago, I had to drive south to go in, I'm tired, I can't get it done. And she was like, boy, just record and talk about what you're feeling. It don't matter what. And a part of why I was hesitant to record too is that I'm not reading the papers. I don't know what happened. I'm not current with everything. And she's like, just talk about how you're feeling about Dana. Like, she kept saying it. And I was like, I think you're right. Because I was surprised at the response. I recorded that last episode really because I've, like I tell you, Dana kind of come up in my dream and I was like, okay, let me do this. And I did, but it was very, very, very hard to do that. That was hard to do. That was hard to talk about. And I didn't know how hard it would be. I thought I was planning to record that episode like a few times, and eventually I was feeling good and I said, let me go for it. And then it was emotional. So she's like, boy, listen, and this is what I teach in the class, but she's teaching me completely because she's like, listen, you have to suffer with your audience. You have to have all the ups with your audience and have all the downs with them, so they're there for you. And that was something that I saw over the course of the weeks where people was reaching out just to see, hey, how it going, how you going. You know what I mean? People was very, very gracious to do that all the time. To tell me that, listen, we missing you and we here. Whenever you come back, we good. One man said, look, my boy Cassius is all this. He say, just give me one for the Christmas. And I was like, nah, Cassius, I will do better than that. It is so bad. I'll come back and I will get back in a groove. But I appreciated that. Them things go a long way to know that, people there for you in a way. And it reminded me, I lecture in about 10 years now. And one of the things I always tell students is that I learn more from these classrooms than you will ever learn. I only here to teach you econ or marketing or whatever the thing is. I say, but from you, from your feedback, from your questions, I get the whole of life. And I get to hear from 100 people in some classes or 40 people in a room like by Nigel and them 10 very energetic young people who looking at me. When I watch the way they're watching me as somebody who accomplished something, it's like, I don't know. I still trying to figure this thing out. But the point I'm making, going back to the school system, is that the school system misses some of that, I think. I think the teachers and them under pressure, and they're not in the best environment sometimes, and maybe they're not well treated and underpaid and underappreciated by society. And they also know that they're working in a system that is creating, to use Noguera's terms, they really trying to make passive, obedient pupils designed to go into a capitalist system to work for people. And maybe that's not where teachers' passion lies. So they're frustrated by the curriculum too. Do you ever feel like these teachers happy with the curriculum? Or they seeing students that not going to fit into this mold, and they had to beat them into it. They had to move them from out the class or get them to stop talking so that everybody else could think. But every report book I had said I wanted to, so I talk too much. Corey's thing was he talked too much. And later on in life, I write down every career that is talk. And I try to pursue all, and I pursue in all. The ones I ain't reach yet, I ain't reach. The lawyer is the one I ain't reach yet. But I get into lecture, I get into do journalism, I get into do presentations and work. So the people could fit into all kind of different spaces. Like when I watch a football game, for instance, I don't know how good Angus do in school. I don't know how good Aubrey David, who turned out to be one of the best defenders and captains we had in a long time. I don't know how good he do in school, and I don't care. It does not matter to me. How good you do in school should never be a measure of what your success is. It is a flawed measure. The system is poor. The system designed for 20% of the people to excel at it and 80% of the people to struggle. Some part of that 80% will figure it out and do well enough, and some going to be left by the wayside. But some of the people who could be left by that wayside is Alvin Jones, and then we have nobody to score against his states. Not saying that he didn't do well in school, but I just don't know and I don't care. A lot of the people who we see as successful, even by capitalist measures, like what car you drive and how much money you make, and a lot of them have zero education in this system that we're talking about. You understand? So while I could go, and I salute again to my aunt, Dr. Teresa Charles, which I will say as often as I could, who find a route to success that was not traditional by any means. I don't want to give away her story, right? Because I want her to come here and talk about it, and for Pudgy, her husband, to come and talk about his story as well, which we'll do. But when you hear her talk about her path to being a PhD, that's not traditional at all. If it's for me, I had to spend 3 years in undergrad, probably a year for thesis or something. Then I had to spend 2 or 3 years again in masters, and then I'd do a PhD. It could take me 6, 7, 8 years to ever get a PhD. And then I will be seen by some people as successful and in this academic world. But when you look at over the last few weeks, I was able to see Allison Hinds collect a PhD from UE. And Beres Hammond collect a PhD from UE. I'm not sure how well they did in school, and it does not matter. Because even by capitalist measures, like how much money and how much car and how much travel, all those things, they're way more successful than the average academic. And we can define our lives by things they have done. Like, I always remember in UE, I used to play Sizzler, Solid as a Rock. Can't keep a good man down. I used to play that all the time before every exam. I don't know. Well, Sizzler is a bad example because I think he has some kind of master's degree in architecture or something. But you get the point I'm making. It would not have mattered if he study and do well in school and if he passed with first choice and all this kind of foolishness. It is inconsequential because success had to be defined by the person who pursuing it. If you pursuing something and you're successful at it, like I was talking to my partners in Miami the other day, and Osman was talking about Lara tarnishing his legacy by being a coach in IPL that unsuccessful. And I keep saying, like, suppose that's what Lara wants to do. Lara has nothing to prove to anybody to be a success. He's by success by any measure you could possibly imagine. So then why would we use the one little part of his life where he might not have achieved massive success that he would have achieved being a double record holder and one of the best batsmen in the world? How you could take one little narrow part, the shortest stint he have, which still is incomplete. He's not where he needs to be in coaching yet, and he knows that. How do we use those little things to say that somebody tarnishing the legacy? Is the equivalent of saying somebody who get expelled from school or they fail common entrance. You could use that to define a person's whole life. How Beres Hammond doing common entrance? And why would it matter? When you could say, you're gonna talk, they're gonna say a lot of things about us. When you could do that, and you know where you was when you was listening to that. Cause don't worry what the people say when they see me with you. You remember in a spot, you was in the lair. You remember where you was when them kind of song played. You can't do people that. You can't pigeonhole people into an education system that designed for most people to fail and then define them by it for the rest of your life. It don't make sense and it does not work. Again, I want to say a quick minute to salute to Denzel Street, who was picking up a leading role at MIT. You all remember that discussion? They say move our youth, because again, some of the things that we do. I saw something the other day saying that the number one factor for how wealthy somebody is going to be, it had nothing to do with what school you went, what kind of job you have, what kind of qualifications you get, how you invest. None of that. You know what is the number one factor for how wealthy somebody would be? Is your parents' wealth. So when I see Denzel Street grow up in Mova, it tells me a story about his parents' wealth, but he is able to go into MIT and be a dean for one of the most important areas that the school is heading into. I like stories like that. I like a comeback story like Angus Eve. You know what I mean? You're down 2-0 and you score 3. Or they hate you and you come and you get some success out of nothing. I think we need to sometimes give people enough latitude to let these stories unveil and let we redefine what success is. Salute. I don't want to talk about this in passing at all, ever. Salute to the great Allison Hinds and the great Beres Hammond for being 2 honorary graduate PhDs from the... Let me make sure I say this right, because when I say this about Lord Nelson, I was wrong like hell. This is from Allison Hinds, and I've done it wrong already. Forever grateful. Repost from UE Caville campus. Mrs. Allison Hinds Walcott, who has conferred the degree of Doctor of Letters, that is a D.Lit. Honoris causa addresses the company. Allison is a vital element to the Caribbean music scene and a major force in the eruption of the innovative, urban-influenced Caribbean-based music. Similar to artists such as fellow Bajan pop star Rihanna, Sean Paul, and Shaggy. Caribbean artists like Rihanna, Sean Paul, and Shaggy. Allison has made an impact on music worldwide and has left an indelible mark on the Caribbean music scene. When Allison is not performing, she takes time to work as an advocate for causes such as AIDS awareness, women's rights, diabetes, cancer foundations, as well as organizations for disabled and physically challenged children. You can't beat that. Reading from the Jamaica Observer, Kingston, Jamaica. Reggae icon Beres Hammond will be conferred with the Honorary Doctor of Letters by the University of the West Indies at Mona campus at an annual graduation ceremony on Saturday, November 4th. He will be among 4 other recipients to receive honorary degrees during the university's 4 graduation ceremonies, which are scheduled to take place over 2 days, November 3rd and 4th. They went on to talk about some other people. I'm sure they did great, right? I just had to talk about Beres Hammond, right? So Beres conferred his delete and as a doctor. One of the things that I wish we would do, right, is because I feel so good when I see Lord Nelson bestowed this same delete honor or Allison Hinds, same with Beres Hammond. That it would be great if they could do a sort of joint campus ceremony. So you have the people who graduate everywhere, right? But when we have global superstars like Nello or Beres Hammond, it would be great if we could bring all of them together so that we have a ceremony for the delete that moves island to island. You know what I mean? That would be such a nice thing where we could celebrate them in a bigger way and let them feel the love throughout the region so that it doesn't just it's not just in Barbados for Bajans or in Jamaica for Jamaicans. You understand what I mean? Because UWI supposed to be a regional body. So when you give, it's almost like if UWI St. Augustine couldn't give Beres Hammond a delete, if you understand where I'm coming from. UWI St. Augustine should be able to do it as well. So maybe if there's some joint ceremony that brings all the delete people together. Because imagine having a ceremony where you had Jet Samaru, Lord Nelson, Beres Hammond, Allison Hinds, all of them in one, collecting the letters. And hopefully you feel they will give you a little tune. You feel they will give you a little tune. I like that, you know. I like the idea of celebrating greatness. I watch any time, right? There have a few things I want to talk about, and listen, just like in class when I miss a class, I always had a makeup session. I had to do some makeup podcast, right? But I just want to talk about one thing before I go. Right? The Express. I know when's on the Express, right? I'm not sure what it is when's on the Express, but yesterday was International Men's Day, right? Which, to tell you the truth, as men, I don't know if we care too much. No, I'm not sure. Men, no, they care about International Men's Day. I don't know if we care about these things all that much, you know. I was listening to Bill Burr in his show, and he said, boy, listen, his role now in his household is to be agreeable. He just want to be agreeable with people. So as a man, he ain't putting up much of a resistance in the wise words of Beres Hammond. He's just going along with it, and I mean, you know, at least the old school men, if you want to call us that, you kind of know you have a role of protector and provider for your family, and that's about it. And whether there's gratitude that comes with that or you feel underappreciated, I don't know if people care. I don't know if men care that much, to be fair. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Who study that? Whereas with women, if you miss them on a Mother's Day or any of the days made to celebrate them, the household could get dark, right? Deservedly so. Women deserve everything they could get out of this life and in this life for everything that they've contributed to this life, right? But International Men's Day, I neither here nor there. Me expecting nobody to show up for me, no gift, none of them kind of things. Not saying that if those things will happen, it would be nice or it wouldn't be received. But men have a kind of way. I don't know if I'm talking for all men, but we have a kind of way that we don't want to seem as if we burdened by anything, or we just go along and get along kind of thing, you know. So, but I find Express went a little far in that rather than just celebrate us or ignore the day completely, which most of us would have preferred. Like I was reading something the other day that said men on their birthday just like to stay home and do nothing because you feel the burden of that responsibility all the time and planning and paying for this or financially, whatever the burdens are that you have in your household, right? You just feel that. So even when they say, let me do a trip for the birthday, I feel like okay, it's not that I don't want to do the trip. It's just that the trip is a cost, which whether the woman pay for it or not, we just want to pay for it in the end. I don't know your household is work, but you got to pay for that in the end. And we also had to do some logistics and the planning, and I leave home, and now when I drive in, I'm concerned for my family, and there's a lot that goes with that. So sometimes when men tell you for their birthday, they just want to stay home and do nothing, is because it's almost like for that day we want to have no responsibilities or no nothing to do or nothing to plan or nothing to pay for or anything like that. So it seems strange. It used to seem strange to me too, because I just saw it in an article last week, and I was to send people that, because when I say I don't want to do nothing for me, but you should do this and you should do that, and then when they do it for me and I'm there, it's like, but he was looking so stressed out. He wasn't looking like, and I was like, because today's a working day at work, I can't be just down the island sweating. Something don't feel right. But again, it's not that I don't appreciate it, but I find Express could have just leave it alone or go in the next direction. Because if you don't know, the Express printed or put it in the papers and on the social media page, the big question on International Men's Day, with a picture of International Men's Day with a whole set of cartoon figures of international men, you want to put it like that. And the question is, have men lived up to their responsibilities? It's like, what happened? What happened? I don't understand why it couldn't be just a celebratory message, but just say Happy International Men's Day. Nobody would have paid attention to that at all. But gratefully, women take a ton behind the Express on this. You know, sometimes we waiting for women to say something good about man, and because it's always, all man is dog, and man is this, and man is that. It's almost like, okay, so we take up this role voluntarily of protector and provider and planner and all these different things that we doing for the household. And we ain't asking for nothing in return, but the least you could do is don't be calling me dog all the time as a dog, and man is dog, and all of the man is. We don't like to hear that, to be honest. I don't want to hear that all man is dog, and who want to hear that all the time? But the woman step up in a big way. The woman was all up in Express comments. Christian said this is stupid, irresponsible, and ignorant, and it says a lot about you. Thank you to all the men who continue to stand as men and do what you know is right. The men who love, protect, respect, and take care of themselves and their families. I want to let you know that you're loved, respected, admired, appreciated, and certainly needed. Thank you, men. Happy International Men's Day. I feel good. No, Christian name is Christian Sweet Trini Dumpling Thompson, which tells me something about the way she treats men, you know what I mean? But the comments was much like that. They said, just a reminder to men, don't let the word fool you into believing that you're not valued and appreciated unless you make a certain amount of money or have high quality things. You are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated regardless. That's from Akila Sukan Singh. I appreciate that. Sherry Welsh say, on the day we should be educating the nation on the fact that it is a son of our soil, Professor Jerome T. Luxing, who founded this day. It was a female activist who got it recognized as a global celebration in honor of men to show appreciation for the sacrifices and the value added to society and the world. Men are great. Men, we are grateful for your inputs in our lives. You are valued and appreciated. I want to cry. You are valued and appreciated. As a reminder, men, you were raised by women. And she laughed. She had to give you a little jab. That's Sherry Welch. But who knows Jerome T. Luxing had anything to do with this, and as a Trini? Like, why Express take this angle? And people say it had to be a very bitter woman who started this article in the first place with a question like that. So I want to tell all you that on International Men's Day, on behalf of all men and the men of the what you call this again? The Corey Shepherd podcast, I forget the name. We appreciate all you for defending we here, because to tell you the truth, right? Most of the comments here is women. There have a few men who responded, but most of the comments is women. And it just goes to show you that men don't care. I would have never seen this article. I would have never read the caption. All I see is International Men's Day. I would have assumed they had a happy day and I would have moved on with my life. We really don't care about none of these things. But it feels good for the women to step up in this way and say that, you know what I mean? They ain't like how the Express come at men, because sometimes the messages that men create is like you're carrying a heavy load and you have a big burden on your back, right? And while you have this big burden on your back, somebody come and tell you, all this dog, or you and all your friends, they're like, oh God, all right, we dog, okay. But give me easy, let me put on this first, because I have far to go with this, and don't worry, you will be safe and you will be taken care of and you will be protected. Another thing that I want to say, in spite of all the crime and everything that happened in the country, and I know I talked about the article yesterday, is that one of the ways we've evolved in life is that when we get to things like Mother's Day or Women's Day and so on, we tend to come here and say, all mothers and all women, we love you all and appreciate you all. I think that if we're going forward with this International Men's Day and all we really care about it, stop qualifying it. Stop saying, well, the men who there's pay the bill. No, they didn't say that. But the man who is protect and protect and know the role of a real man, stop saying all that. Just say Happy International Day to all men. Because when we say Happy Women's Day or Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, we know it are mothers who mightn't be fit or deserve it. Whatever you want to, the label you want to put on it. But we want to celebrate all mothers at this time. On this day, we're celebrating all of you all because it have nobody who do all evil and do everything wicked in this. It have nobody like that. All who you calling bad mother and the this and the that, they had moments with their child they was loving at some point. Somebody loved them and them love somebody. So just say all women, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. So when it comes to Men's Day and Father's Day and things, those start with the deadbeat dad thing. We know it had them. Those start with the men and them who is a man. Those start that. Just say Happy Father's Day to all men. You don't know which one of them men who are abusive and wicked and start struggling with addiction. You don't know which one of them could change based on that little message that say, boy, we love you and we appreciate you. We love you and we appreciate you regardless. You don't know how that little spark could make a man say, better I don't beat shit tomorrow. You know what I mean? Better. Hey, listen, I coming out to here. I have work to go and do. I have a little brother by the name of Stefan. This man don't make joke. You know. This man is a very hard taskmaster and a hard pay master. And he done message me here already. And I'll go back to work. And I always have a deadline every day now to go and see my sister for the on the visit. And I will tell her, I always tell her, so listen, I do an episode, I hear you say something, and plenty people reach out and send love. The more love you send is the more I will continue to tell her. And I just like I say about the men, I'm never sure what message will get through to Dana to keep fighting, but I give her all the messages I could give. And I just like sharing this with all you too, right? I have a new life goal. I'm just sharing this with all you before I get out here. And I have some Brigo to play because I played that little one Brigo. I just like Brigo a lot, and I just want to leave all you with some Brigo in this episode. But one of my new life goals is to make sure that every interaction I have with somebody, I could leave them on a positive note. So I'm leaving all you on a positive note with a few of my favorite Brigos. popular ones that I just find sweet.
Forget long ago, no. Just before I leave this country, people used to live here like one family. Long time if you fall sick in bed, neighbors used to attend to you. They used to bring you some half-boiled fowl, egg. They used to bring down to medicine too. People do they still live so? Come on now, tell Brigo. I want to know. People today they still live so. Long ago, mama, let me tell you more about long ago. When I was a little fella, I got it from a stranger. The stranger caught a whip and beat me for stealing a gold chain. When I go home and I tell me you know me mama beat me again. Oh, yo. People do they still live so? People do they still live so? I want to know. People today they still live so. Long ago, I'm always thinking about long ago. Long time when we go out to party, we used to be well dressed and looking tight. Long time if you marry a woman, you had to sing she about full of tune.
Yes.
Then take she on a little island on a 3 months honeymoon. Hey, people today still live so. People today still live so. I want to know. Yeah, today they still live so. Long ago, let me tell you more about long ago. House and land here in this country never uses to cost no big money. Long time if you want a room to rent, the landlord used to hand you a key for you to choose your own apartment before the landlord receive money. Hey, people today still live so. Come on now, tell Brigo. I want to know. People today they still live so.
Long ago. Mama Popo might be my favorite Brigo, but I'll leave in here with this one. This might be everybody else's favorite.
Bacchanal in the country, I ball like a cow. A girl want me marry, she want me marry now. Went and do evil thing to me, in order that I should marry she. A voodoo man tell me they have my name in the cemetery. They put my family against me, just so. A voodoo man tell me they give me dead people golden tea. They have me tied from my head to my toe.
Look here how I try, I properly tie.
I want to go, let me go. I want to go, let me go. Yeah. I want to go, let me go. She gave me my breakfast last week Saturday. I get so delirious, I throw it away. I don't was passing the same time. Smell the food and start to whine. A voodoo man tell me they have my name in the cemetery.
They give me dead people bone and tea.
Just so. A voodoo man tell me they give me dead people bone and tea. They have me tied from my head
to my toe.
Don't care how I try, I properly try. I want to go, let me go. I want to go, let me go. Hey, hey. Oh. She believe in witchcraft.
Yes.
Trap me with a bread. The food that she give me. Drop the hair from my head. A bad thing when a man want more than one wife. This devil woman will take my life. Voodoo man tell me they have me there in the cemetery. They put my family against me. Just so. The voodoo man tell me they give me dead people bone and tea. They have me tied from my head to my toe. Don't care how I try, I properly try. I want to go, let me go. I want to go, let me go.
I gotta go. Only let me go. Only have a good week. Have a safe week, everybody. Do the right thing this week. Enjoy yourself, and I will talk to you next week. Also.